What if President Trump is a Deathworlder? 5 mind-blowing scenarios. The year is 2025. The Galactic Council makes first contact with Earth. They arrive expecting gratitude, diplomacy, maybe a little awe. Instead, within 72 hours, they send an emergency transmission back to their homeworld. 3 words: they are Deathworlders. And at the center of their terror, one man, President Donald J. Trump. But here's the thing, this isn't really about aliens. It's about patterns, human patterns, leadership patterns, survival patterns. What if the behaviors that would terrify a galactic civilization are the exact same ones we've already seen play out here on Earth? Trade wars that look like China, but scaled to the stars. Military flashpoints that feel like Iran, but on distant space stations. Resource conflicts over places like Venezuela or Greenland, but for entire planets. Love him or hate him, what if Trump isn't an anomaly? What if he's exactly what a death world produces when it feels threatened? I'm about to show you 5 scenarios that blur the line between science fiction and uncomfortable reality. But first, if this sounds interesting, hit that like button. It tells YouTube to share this with more people. And subscribe if you want more content that makes you question everything. Let's dive in. What is a Deathworlder? Okay, ground rules. What the hell is a Deathworlder? The concept comes from science fiction, specifically the idea that Earth is a Class 12 death world, one of the most hostile planets in the galaxy. Most alien species? They evolved on paradise planets, low gravity, mild weather, abundant resources, few predators. Their evolution was comfortable. Earth? Earth is a nightmare. We have weather that kills in minutes, predators with venom, claws, and teeth, diseases that evolve faster than we can fight them, gravity that's crushing by galactic standards. And somehow, we thrived. This created 5 key human traits. 1. Insane durability. We survive injuries that would kill most species. 2. Aggressive problem solving. We don't retreat from obstacles. We innovate, adapt, overcome. 3. Pack bonding. We form intense social connections. We domesticated wolves, for crying out loud. 4. Intimidation factor. Forward-facing predator eyes, endurance hunting, willingness to fight. 5. Unpredictability. We're creative, chaotic, and we thrive in crisis. Transition. Now, let's talk Trump. The Trump factor. Say what you will about his politics, but certain traits are undeniable. He's relentless. The man doesn't quit even when conventional wisdom says he should. He's a master of psychological warfare, nicknames, media manipulation, branding. It's all intimidation. He thrives in chaos. Where others see crisis, he sees opportunity. He's unpredictable. Allies and enemies never quite know what he'll do next. He survives. Political attacks that would end anyone else's career. He just keeps going. Sound familiar? These are Deathworlder traits, amplified, weaponized. And to observe all this, meet our alien guide. Introducing Zixthor. Zixthor is a centaurian, 7 feet tall, crystalline skin, communicates through bioluminescence. His species is known for logic, diplomacy, and careful planning. He's just been given the worst assignment in the Galactic Diplomatic Corps. Study the human leader and determine if Earth should join the Galactic Council. His first report, after 1 week. Request immediate extraction. Subject is incomprehensible and possibly insane. Also, he keeps calling me Zix and asking if I want to make a deal. The Council denies his request. Zixthor's reports are about to get very interesting. The 5 scenarios. Scenario 1. The Galactic Council arrives for first contact. Trump is the negotiator. Picture this. A massive mothership hovers over New York. The Council's finest diplomats enter the negotiation chamber with prepared speeches about unity, shared knowledge, and Earth's place in the cosmic community. They've done this 100 times. It always goes the same way. The primitive species is overwhelmed, accepts the terms, integration begins. Trump walks in, looks at the lead diplomat, a floating jellyfish made of light, and says, "Nice entrance. Very dramatic. I've done bigger openings, but it's good. Now let's talk about what you want and what it's going to cost you." The aliens are confused. Cost them. They're offering technology millennia ahead of Earth's. They expect gratitude, not negotiation. But Trump's Deathworlder instincts kick in immediately. He knows, if they're here, they need something. Otherwise, why make contact? So he flips the script. He starts interrogating them. What resources does Earth have that you want? What's the real reason you're here? What happens to planets that say no? Who are your enemies, and how does Earth fit into that? The aliens, who've never been interrogated by a species they're trying to uplift, start to crack. And Trump notices. Every flicker of bioluminescence, every hesitation, he's reading them like a poker opponent. Here's what he figures out. The Galactic Council is in a cold war with another faction. Earth's location is strategically valuable, and humans, violent, unpredictable Deathworlder humans, would make incredible allies in a fight. So Trump does what any apex predator would do. He negotiates from strength. His demands: full technology transfer, not scraps. Earth keeps sovereignty, no council oversight. Humans get seats on the council's military command. Trade deals favoring Earth's economy. Everything in writing with enforcement mechanisms. The aliens are horrified. This isn't how first contact works. But 3 weeks later, Earth signs the most favorable first contact treaty in galactic history. Other species are stunned. How did these primitive Deathworlders get such incredible terms? Zix Thor's report. The human leader treats diplomacy as warfare by other means. He shows no deference to superior technology or ancient civilizations. He believes with absolute certainty that he will win any negotiation. And somehow, he does. Request psychological evaluation of entire human species. Scenario 2. Trump starts a trade war with the Andromedan Commerce Guild and wins. The Andromedan Commerce Guild has controlled galactic trade for 10,000 years. Their trade agreements are ironclad. Their economic leverage is absolute. Entire civilizations have collapsed trying to oppose them. Trump takes one look at Earth's trade deficit with Andromeda and says, "This is the worst deal in the history of deals, maybe ever." The Andromedans don't take him seriously. Primitive species always complain. They'll adjust, adapt, accept their place. That's how it always works. Except Trump doesn't accept. He imposes tariffs, massive tariffs, the kind that make economists' heads explode. The Andromedans retaliate, expecting Earth to fold. Trump doubles down, building tension. He starts making deals with their competitors, species shut out of major trade routes for centuries. He offers Earth's unique resources to anyone willing to bypass Andromedan middlemen. And here's where it gets interesting. Remember, Earth is a death world. Our products are intense by galactic standards. Our spices can kill species with sensitive biology. Our music, rock, metal, hip-hop, is literally used as a weapon in some cultures. Our movies are considered psychological horror by species that evolved without predators. But there's a market for it. Thrill-seeking aliens, rebellious youth on peaceful worlds, military organizations looking for combat stimulation. They all want Earth products. And Trump has just created a black market that bypasses Andromedan control. The Andromedans panic. Their monopoly is cracking. They come back to the table, offer concessions. Trump rejects them. They offer more. He rejects again. This goes on for months. Finally, Trump makes his move, a new trade framework where Earth acts as a hub for frontier worlds that have been economically marginalized. He's not just renegotiating Earth's deal. He's restructuring the entire galactic economy. The Andromedans, facing collapse of their 10,000-year-old system, agree. Within a year, Earth is one of the richest planets in the galaxy. Zixthor, the human leader, has destabilized an economic system that predates his species' written language. He did this in 18 months. I have begun experiencing what humans call stress headaches. I did not know my species could get headaches. Request hazard pay. Scenario 3. Earth's first military conflict. Trump's Deathworlder instincts turn the tide. Proxima Station, a neutral trading hub on the edge of Council space, is under attack by the Krell Dominion. The Council's military response is typical, measured, diplomatic. They're trying to de-escalate while defending. It's not working. The Krell are winning. Earth has only been in the galactic community for 3 years, but we've been building ships. Human ships. And they're weird by galactic standards. Most alien ships are elegant, efficient, designed for specific roles. Human ships are over-engineered nightmares, redundant systems on top of backup systems. We armor things that don't need armor. We add weapons to ships that aren't supposed to have weapons. Because we're Deathworlders, we assume everything will go wrong. The Council's military command is hesitant to deploy Earth's fleet. We're untested, unpredictable. Trump overrides them. He sends the fleet, and he goes with them. The Council is horrified. Planetary leaders don't go into combat. It's not done. It's insane. Trump: I'm not asking anyone to do something I wouldn't do. Besides, I want to see these Krell bastards up close. The human fleet arrives, and immediately everything goes sideways. Because humans don't fight like other species. Galactic warfare is calculated. Ships maintain distance, exchange fire, retreat when shields drop. It's almost polite. Humans: we ram ships. We use debris as weapons. We vent atmosphere to put out fires. We have crew members volunteer for suicide missions and call it taking one for the team. We play music during combat, loud, aggressive music that terrifies enemy ships monitoring our communications. The Krell have never seen anything like it. They're facing an enemy that doesn't retreat, doesn't surrender, and gets more aggressive when damaged. And Trump is on the flagship, making calls no sane commander would make. That Krell dreadnought? Ram it. Yes, I know it's bigger. That's why it'll work. They're retreating? Chase them. I want them to know what happens when you mess with Earth. Tell the crew I'm buying drinks when we get home. The good stuff. The battle turns. The Krell retreat. Proxima Station is saved. But here's the real impact. Every species in the galaxy just watched humans fight. And they're terrified. Because we don't just win battles. We win them in ways that shouldn't be possible. Zixthor: I observed the human leader during combat. He showed no fear. He made decisions that violated every principle of military strategy, and he won. I'm beginning to suspect humans do not experience reality the same way other species do. They see danger and move toward it. Request transfer to any other assignment. I will study methane breathers. I will catalog space fungi. Anything but this. Scenario 4. Earth's culture spreads across the galaxy. Trump becomes an unlikely icon. Here's something the Council didn't anticipate. Humans are interesting. Our art, our stories, our entire way of life, it's exotic, dangerous, absolutely fascinating to species from paradise worlds. Human movies become underground sensations. Aliens watch action films like we watch horror, terrified but unable to look away. Our food becomes a delicacy for thrill seekers. Our music spawns entire subcultures on peaceful worlds. And at the center of this cultural explosion, Trump. He understands branding. He understands spectacle. Whether intentionally or not, he becomes the face of humanity to the galaxy. His speeches, his rallies, his entire persona, it's peak Deathworlder energy. Aliens start studying him as a cultural phenomenon. He represents everything that makes humans terrifying and compelling. Absolute confidence in the face of opposition, refusal to back down, mastery of psychological warfare, ability to dominate any room, unpredictability that keeps everyone off balance. And something unexpected happens. Other Deathworld species start reaching out to Earth. Turns out, Earth isn't the only hostile planet. There are others, worlds with crushing gravity, toxic atmospheres, megafauna predators. And the species that evolved there have been marginalized by the Council, seen as too aggressive, too dangerous, too primitive. But Earth's success changes the narrative. Suddenly, Deathworlder traits aren't weaknesses, they're strengths. Trump becomes a symbol of Deathworlder pride. He starts holding summits with other Deathworld leaders. They formed the Deathworld Coalition. They demand changes to Council policy, military roles that utilize their natural advantages, economic opportunities previously denied, cultural recognition and respect, an end to discrimination based on planetary origin. The Council is in chaos. For millennia, they've maintained order by keeping Deathworlders marginalized. Now those same species are organizing, demanding equality. And they have Earth, wealthy, militarily powerful, culturally influential Earth, leading the charge. Trump creates a slogan, "Make the galaxy great for everyone." It's cheesy, it's on brand, and it works. Within 5 years, the Deathworld Coalition is a major political force. Zixthor, the human leader, has gone from planetary representative to galactic revolutionary. He has united species that have never cooperated. He challenged power structures that existed for millennia, and he did it with big rallies and slogans and something called tweets. "I have requested a sabbatical. It has been denied." Scenario 5. An existential threat emerges, and Trump's Deathworlder instincts are the galaxy's only hope. The Voidborn. That's what the Council calls them. An ancient race, older than any known civilization. They exist in the space between dimensions. And every few million years they emerge to consume entire galaxies. They're coming, and the Council has no idea how to stop them. The Council's best scientists, their greatest military minds, their most powerful weapons, none of it matters. The Voidborn can't be negotiated with, can't be reasoned with. They exist only to consume. The Council is preparing to evacuate, identifying which species can be saved, which worlds must be abandoned. It's triage on a galactic scale. And then Trump says, no. The Council thinks he's in denial. They try to explain. This isn't a battle that can be won. Evacuation is the only option. Trump's response: "You're thinking like prey. We're predators. We don't run. We fight." Trump calls an emergency summit, not just the Council, everyone, every species, every faction, even former enemies. And he makes a speech. "I've been told this is impossible. I've been told we can't win. I've been told to run. But you know what? I've been told that my entire life, and I'm still here. Humanity is still here. We've survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, extinction events. We've been knocked down, and we got back up. Every single time. The Voidborn think we're prey. They think we'll scatter and die. But they've never faced a galaxy that fights back. They've never faced Deathworlders. And they've definitely never faced humanity." The speech shouldn't work. It's bravado, emotion over logic. But something happens. Species that were preparing to flee stop. They listen. And they remember. Their ancestors survived too. They evolved. They fought. The galaxy mobilizes, not for evacuation, for war. Trump coordinates a defense that violates every military doctrine. Human ships loaded with nuclear weapons, primitive but devastating. Andromedan economic networks repurposed to move resources at impossible speeds. Deathworld Coalition forces on the front lines. Paradise world species providing support and technology. Even the Krell Dominion joins. The battle is brutal. Ships are lost. Entire fleets consumed. But the galaxy doesn't break, because for the first time in their history, they're fighting like Deathworlders. Then a human scientist, working with alien researchers, discovers something. The Voidborn exist between dimensions, but they have to fully manifest to consume matter. And when they manifest, they're vulnerable for just a few seconds. It's a tiny window, impossible to exploit, unless you have a species that specializes in impossible. Human pilots in ships designed to take punishment fly directly into Voidborn manifestation zones. They wait until the last possible second, until the Voidborn are fully materialized, and they detonate everything. Suicide runs. Hundreds of ships, thousands of crew members. They don't hesitate. And it works. The Voidborn, facing an enemy that refuses to die, that turns every loss into a weapon, that fights with unprecedented ferocity. Retreat. The galaxy is saved. The cost is enormous. Earth loses a quarter of its fleet. Other species suffer similar casualties. But they won. Against an enemy that had never been defeated, they won. Trump, standing in the aftermath. We did something today no one thought possible. We stood together, we fought together, and we survived together. This is what we're capable of when we stop seeing each other as aliens and start seeing each other as allies, as friends, as family. The Voidborn will come back someday. Maybe in 1,000,000 years, maybe sooner. But when they do, they'll remember this day. They'll remember the galaxy that fought back. And they'll think twice. The galaxy erupts in celebration. And for the first time in history, humans aren't seen as dangerous Deathworlders. We're seen as heroes. Zixthor's final report. I have observed the human leader for 7 years. I have watched him negotiate, fight, inspire, and lead. I have seen him make decisions that defied logic and somehow succeed. I have seen him unite species that hated each other. I have seen him face extinction and refuse to blink. I no longer believe he is insane. I believe he is something else, something my species lacks. He has hope, not the logical assessment of probable outcomes, but true, irrational, Deathworlder hope. The belief that no matter how bad things get, they can be overcome. I am returning to my homeworld. I am resigning from the diplomatic corps, not because I failed, but because I have learned something my species needs to hear. We have become too comfortable, too safe, too certain that our way is the only way. The humans, and their leader, have shown us that there is strength in chaos, wisdom in unpredictability, and power in refusing to accept defeat. I do not know if President Trump is a great leader by human standards. But by galactic standards, he may be the most important figure in modern history. And I am honored to have witnessed it. The real question, 48 minutes to 53 minutes. Okay, let's come back to Earth for a minute. Because this video isn't asking you to agree with anything. It's asking you to notice patterns. Scenario 1, first contact negotiations. A leader walks into a system built on old assumptions and immediately starts renegotiating everything. No reverence for legacy deals, no automatic acceptance of, this is how it's always been done. If that feels familiar, ask yourself, how often have we seen sweeping renegotiations of trade agreements justified by the belief that the original terms were fundamentally unfair? Scenario 2, the trade war with Andromeda. What happens if you mentally swap Andromeda for China? A dominant economic power, massive trade imbalances, tariffs used as leverage, short-term disruption for long-term positioning. Whether you think it worked or failed, the strategy should feel recognizable. Scenario 3, Proxima Station. Replace a distant space station with a real-world flashpoint like Iran. Escalation instead of hesitation. Deterrence through unpredictability. A belief that overwhelming pressure prevents larger conflict rather than causes it. Is that reckless or calculated? That depends on who you ask. Scenario 4. The Cultural Revolution. This isn't about battles or treaties. It's about economics and identity. The return of capitalism as a core value, confidence in markets, competition over central control. The idea that prosperity comes from strength, not restraint. Ask yourself why that message resonates with some people and terrifies others. Scenario 5. The Existential Threat. A world where resources, territory, and strategic locations suddenly matter again. Where leaders talk openly about influence, control, and expansion, whether it's energy routes, regional dominance, or even controversial ideas about places like Venezuela or Greenland. Is that imperial thinking or survival thinking? So here's the real question. Are these just sci-fi exaggerations? Or are they reflections of how certain leaders view the world as a constant negotiation, a constant competition, a constant fight against decline? What if President Trump is a Deathworlder? What if the traits that make him controversial, unpredictable, and polarizing are actually the same traits that make humanity exceptional? This has been a thought experiment, a wild journey through politics and science fiction. But underneath the aliens and space battles, there's a real question. What makes humans special? What allows us to overcome impossible odds? What drives us to explore, to fight, to never give up? Maybe it's our Deathworlder nature. Maybe it's the fact that we evolved on a planet that tried to kill us every single day, and we survived anyway. Maybe it's the fact that we look at the impossible and say, "Watch me." I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me, which scenario felt the most realistic? Which one crossed the line for you? Do you think this Deathworlder mindset protects civilization or puts it at risk? I read every comment. This video doesn't end here. It continues in that discussion. If you made it this far, you're part of a community that loves wild ideas and uncomfortable questions. Hit that subscribe button. Share this video with someone who loves sci-fi or political commentary. And remember, whether you're facing aliens, impossible odds, or just a tough day, you're a Deathworlder. Act like it. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay bold, and never stop questioning reality. I'll see you in the next one.